Welcome to the Sunday service at CSLN. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family. The Center for Spiritual Living Nashville offers spiritual tools for anyone seeking a more fulfilled and meaningful life through a deeper connection with a higher power or universal truths. Be sure to subscribe below if you enjoy our programs. Now let's join today's service.
When it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love, a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love, a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only, there is only love. There is only love, a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is
Thank you. Good morning, I'm Reverend Lynn, and welcome to Sunday morning at CSLN. We're so glad you're here today, and it is a beautiful day at our center. We are dedicated to helping people live their very, very best lives. Our programs offer a path to lifelong well-being in mind and spirit. Being here today means you're part of this wonderful, positive energy, and it's building every week. And I'd like to invite our YouTube audience to come on down and visit with us and take part in these great services. Our music, our speakers have just been fantastic. So thank you again for being here today. Now here's Larry Farragalli, our music director, to introduce our special music. Thank you.
Thanks, Reverend Lynn. Well, joining us today are band, our friends on acoustic guitar and vocal, Mr. Paul Nielsen. And this is Lisa Hanna. And our, thank you. old friends. And our featured vocalist today has been on the road way a lot.
It's fun, though.
It's fun. She likes it. She's that young, you know. Let's see. Wisconsin, Florida. I've seen New York, and I think there's a Montana coming up. Yeah. Have fun, girl. So she's great. She's been here a few times. She's no stranger. Please welcome Kirsty Krause.
Zoe standing in the middle of the thunder and lightning. I know you just keep feeling like you can't win, but you're trying. It's hard to keep on keeping on. You're being pushed around. Don't know which way is up when you're spinning round and round. Every storm runs out of rain, just like every dark night turns into day. Every heartache will fade away, just like every storm runs out of rain. So hold your head up and tell yourself that there's something more, and walk out that door. Go find a new road. Don't be afraid of the thorns, 'cause we all have thorns. Just put your feet up to the edge, put your face in the wind, and when you fall back down, just keep on remembering. Every storm runs out of rain, just like every dark night turns into day. Every heartache will fade away, just like every storm runs out of rain. It's gonna run out of pain. It's gonna run out of steam. It's gonna leave you alone. It's gonna set you free. Set you free. Every storm runs out of rain, just like every dark night turns into day. Every heartache will fade away, just like every storm runs out of rain. It's gonna set you free. Gonna run out of pain and set you free.
Good morning and welcome to our center.
Good morning.
Morning. Join us in the fellowship hall after service for light refreshments. On Monday is our monthly sacred service team meeting at 6 p.m., as well as our monthly practitioner meeting at 7 p.m. Both of these meetings are held on Zoom. A social outing has been scheduled for Sunday, October 10th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Riverview Restaurant and Marina. To RSVP, you may go to our website and find the link to email Mary Lou Cohen. Also, on October 10th will be the Community Surplus Presale for our members after the service. The sale will include items organized by our wonderful volunteers who have been decluttering our building. The sale will be open to the public on October 22nd and 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are asking for more volunteers to help with this fundraisers. All proceeds will benefit Creative Youth Program. If you can help with this event, please contact Lorraine Evans, whose email you will find under the information for this event on the website. We invite you to stop in our bookstore. The lending library has been rearranged. Feel free to come in and browse. We have a wealth of books for every interest. Okay, so I am one of the board members here. My name is Mojgan Mirani, and thanks to this center and all the teachings, I have been able to go and live my dreams. So actually, my husband and I are going to be traveling and going to different places. And so now there is a final announcement. There's now an opening for another member of our Board of Trustees. So that would be taking my place until when we have the elections in March. Okay, so they would just be covering a few months. I would just say personally, I loved being on this Board of Trustees. The people are wonderful, kind, they have a wealth of knowledge, so much love, and I have learned so much. I think it was such a gratifying experience. I do suggest anybody who thinks that they can be of service, of help, to come and join the Board of Trustees. And all we do is we just listen to our members, listen to the suggestions, and try to help the center become a better place. And I am so sorry that I have to leave, but I have to go and follow my dream. All right, if you are interested in leadership of our community, please email our Executive Director, Annie Golightly, at admin@cslnashville.org. Mark your calendars and stay connected. Find more details on the website under Calendar, Classes, and Workshops. Need a spiritual mind treatment? Find our practitioners on the website. Choose a practitioner by using the individual contact form and submit a request. I have gone to the practitioners a lot, and I love when they treat for me. It just gives me peace of mind. Stay connected and give love to help our center thrive. Visit lovecsln.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. Thank you.
I believe that every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe, oh, I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in that great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky.
Miss Kirsty Kraus. Nice job.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. My name is Carl Franklin, and I'm one of the practitioners here at the center, and it's my joy and privilege to be here this morning. I wanted to do this reading. Spirit spoke to me. This is a book written by Wayne Dyer called Inspiration, Your Ultimate Calling. Wonderful book. So I'm reading from this passage that talks about creating and holding to our vision. The desire to find our way to inspiration involves creating a vision of living in spirit 100% of the time. Even if we don't have a clue as to what we are doing or what our mission is, we need to practice creating this vision anyway. Our inner picture has to be based on our intention to feel good, which is, of course, synonymous with feeling God. If we make this an inner mantra, I intend to feel good, we can picture ourselves experiencing joy regardless of what's going on around us. And we can remind ourselves that whatever we desire is on its way in amounts greater than we ever imagined. If we keep this vision uppermost in mind, then before long, all creating source will conspire to bring our vision into our physical life. Most important, we'll begin to act on our vision and receive divine guidance. It all begins and ends with our willingness to hold a desire in our inner vision despite what is going on around us now. The inner picture is what we'll ultimately have to act upon. So we want to be very careful about what we will create and hold for ourselves. If we see ourselves as limited, unworthy, weak, timid, or sickly, then we'll act on these inner portraits. The truth is that we react to the vision. When we react to the vision, we create and hold. We do so in all the cells of our body. So it's vitally important to hold a clear vision of ourselves as deserving of feeling inspired and knowing that it's our ultimate calling and choosing to be in spirit even when everything else around us suggests otherwise. We need to opt to be a being of sharing and living as close to God realization as possible. The ancient Persian poet Rumi, he said it so perfectly. The garden of the world has no limits except in your mind. Its presence is more beautiful than the stars, with more clarity than the polished mirror of your heart. Clear your mind of limits. Move into spirit, whose presence, as Rumi tells us, is more beautiful than the stars. Now I'd like to do a spiritual mind treatment. I'd like for you to do this. Join me in the first person as I speak these words. There is one presence and power that I call God, and I am one with this light which dissipates any darkness. This truth sets me free to be the best of myself, an instrument of peace and love. In the light, I understand what it means to bless others, for we are all part of the one. As I bless others, I am blessing myself. When I pray for others, I am praying for myself. I enter into this divine experience, knowing that only loving right action is taking place through me at all times. So I surrender my intention to the one mind and know that it is so. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Carl. Good morning. Good morning. If I can get this moving a little bit there. Fine. I am Alan Woodard. I'm a practitioner here at the center, and it is my pleasure to be the host this morning for our speaker. It's a talk that I'm really looking forward to because this particular speaker is someone that I admire deeply. When I think of the word of authenticity, being authentic, this person comes to mind all the time, as well as the courage that they bring with everything that they do, and you're going to experience that this morning when he talks. Our talk this morning is the 4 N's of living an inspired and intentional life: insight, inquiry, intervention, and investment. These 4 steps can lead to the inspired and intentional life you are consciously creating. Our speaker will discuss the first 2 steps today and the second 2 steps on October the 3rd. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Gregory Fisher.
Hey, thank you. Good morning. Well, he's already made me cry. Y'all know I'm a big ball baby, right? I make no apology for it, by the way. Ah, look at you. Don't you look magnificent today? I just want to take a moment to thank Christy, inspiring songs that help with my talk. In fact, I wrote a new note on my notes here based on one of your songs. Larry, of course, who helped coordinate those songs, I'm sure, and always overseeing the band. Our guest players today, lovely to see you again. We're old friends. All of the band, all of the AV people, all of the hospitality people, everyone comes together to make this a wonderful service. I want to take just a moment to especially mention Reverend Lynn. He is our associate minister right now, the minister we've got, the minister we are thrilled to have, who is setting the intentional spiritual direction of our church, of our center. He oversees the speakers. He works to make sure that our ministry with the practitioners is ongoing and strong. So thank you. I see you at the back of the room. We couldn't do it without Lynn, I'm just telling you. This place has been held together because the board has worked hard and Lynn has worked hard to keep us on track. I also want to thank Mushkan, who has been so wonderful on the board. I've only been back on the board for a brief moment, and we've met, but I validate her participation and appreciate it so much. Alan and Carl, who are our practitioners today, part of the core of practitioners. If you're not using your practitioners, you're missing a vital part of this ministry and what could be a vital part of your life. So thank you always. I want to start today with a quote from, it's actually interestingly, oh no, I just deleted it instead of opened it. Hang on, I'll find it quickly. It's actually the only quote on my personal website that I used when I was building it, because it kind of defines the work that I do with people. And here it comes, here she is. This is a quote by a woman named Emily McDowell, who I had not heard of. And interestingly, Emily McDowell she started out with a greeting card company. So she was creating greeting cards, and she was writing these quotes, and then it just turned out they were amazing, and they started getting quoted all over the internet. And so this is one that she's kind of famous for, but I just love it so much. So I'm going to read it to you just as an introduction to what I'm going to talk about today. She says, finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You are also not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, an inaccurate conclusion you drew as a kid that became your belief about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself, an unlearning, an excavation, a remembering who you were before the world got its hands on you. Now, if I were a different kind of speaker, I would say, can I get an amen? But I'm not saying that, so you don't have to. I don't like to have to call upon my audience to do things. That's just me. So what she's saying to us is, the spiritual journey is a journey of recovery. Are you hearing that? So we come to these places and we go, oh, I'm going to learn all these new things so that I can find who I am, so I can figure out who I am. No. You already know who you are. You already know. It's right here. Always has been. Always will be. Here in this present moment, you know who you are. I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, I'm a coach. I'm working right now at a place called Integrative Life Center. It's for people that are dealing with challenges with mental health and also with substance abuse. And I love the work. It is my personal work. So I'm just there to say, me too. Let's figure this out together. And what I say to my clients, and even in my private practice, my private coaching practice, I start always by saying, I don't know your answers. If you came to me to tell you the answers to the opportunities and challenges of your life, that's not what I do, because it's not what I can do. And if you go see someone because you're wanting them to tell you who you are or who to be or what to do, it's not going to work. But here's what you can do. You can find someone that can help you by asking the right questions to uncover that you that has always been there. Yeah. All we're going to do is ask the right questions. You're going to come up with the right answers, and you will peel away all that you are not in favor of all that you already are. Now, here's what's interesting. This has been my organic process in my whole life of recovery. And then I start reading and some new kind of ways of doing counseling and stuff, and I find out we're now have a name for it, and it's becoming a real therapeutic intervention that we're saying to people, there is an authentic you, right? So there is a part of you, we say, in the therapeutic world, who already knows, and then there are these other parts. My therapist, because if you're going to be a therapist, you should have a therapist, by the way. But my therapist always says to me, who's the one in you that's saying that? Who's the part of you that is believing that? Can you, as the authentic you, observe that one and find out what they're telling you, find out what they're asking of you, finding out what they're doing to try to keep you, and here's the word, folks, safe. See, all those inauthentic parts of you, all those ones in you, they think they're keeping you safe. They came and they were born, they were created out of trauma. See, whenever she talks about this is what cultural constraints did, this is what experiences of your childhood said, this is what your parents, your community, your teachers, when we say this is who you've become. You've created these ones to help you navigate through life. What we're really saying is they're trying to keep you safe. Because somehow you've created this idea, and people have assisted you in this idea, that for me to be safe and to circumnavigate this life, I have to be this one here. I have to be this one here. I have to be this one here. And what we're saying is the authentic you, and by the way, in our teaching, what we've always been saying is that one is God. It is you expressing as God. It is you always connected to God, and God is that one mind, one life, one heart that dwells in you. So those thoughts are the highest thoughts possible because they're God's thoughts. Those feelings are the highest feelings because they're God's feelings. Those actions and beliefs are the highest and best for you because they are of God. Here's the good news about what we believe here too. There is this part of me that is God, but it is not all of God. Oh, there's hope in that, isn't there? It's not all of God. It's me as God, and then there's more that I can access, I can call upon. I can say, be greater than me. Show me how to be the best version and greatest version of me. Right? Wow. I can only say wow to that. So, our journey, and not just mine as a person that is in recovery, 34 years sober, been doing this a while, but I'm here to tell you it's everyone's journey if they're living and creating a conscious life. It's a journey of recovery. It's a journey of rediscovery. It's a journey of returning. It's a life of reclaiming the authentic God self. Pretty easy. I can't make it simpler. But I'm going to talk some more, and we'll see what I can do. Anytime I have lost my way. Oh, Christy, that song. What? Remind me the lyrics of that first song you sang. When I've lost my way, right? I return to what? There is only love. When I've lost my way, all that really has happened is I believed one of these ones that is not me. I've become afraid. I've stopped listening to the voice of love that already knows the truth and is never afraid. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is fear. We've got to stop being so afraid because that one in us always knows the truth. Prepositions. Remember the parts of speech? I think they used to teach this. I'm not sure what they teach in English anymore because I certainly hear that most people can't speak it. Well, Lavania, my favorite school teacher of all time, I'm sure you shake your head too at what's now being called English, but I digress. Prepositions matter. And here's one that really matters. Here's a comparison of preposition that really matters. I want my conscious life that I'm creating to come from me, not at me. Do you hear the distinction between those two prepositions, from and at? Life from me, not at me. See, when we're letting life happen at us or to us, we are giving up all of our control. Here it comes. Hope I can withstand it. Hope I can get through this day without falling apart. But when life is coming from us, from that one inside of me that already knows, that is never afraid, that is coming from love, when I let that be my intention, when I wake up in the morning inspired and intentional, then my life comes from me. not at me. When things happen that are challenging, I get to meet it not as a reaction, but as a response. Do you get the difference? Of course you do. That couldn't be easier. I want to respond. I don't want to react. So it doesn't matter what comes at me if my life is coming from me. Now, I want to live my life with inspiration. I want to live my life with intention. So I'm going to tell you real quickly a little story about me. I'm looking at the clock. A little story about me to illustrate what I'm going to talk about for today and the rest of today and next week. I was new in my recovery. I had been sober probably about 3 or 4 years. And my life was still not going anything close to the way I thought it should. I had high expectations that recovery and 12-step meetings and all that I was doing to get my life on track was going to look different. And I had this friend who had been part of my decision that I needed to get sober, that I needed to have that intervention in my life. I was on my way to his house. He lived in St. Louis at the time. He had moved from Nashville to St. Louis. So I'm driving, I'm on the interstate, and I'm pondering the fact that he, in the time that he had been sober, had manifested a much, in my opinion, greater life than I was living, right? So I'm comparing myself. Don't do that, by the way. I'm comparing my life to his life. I'm comparing my journey to his journey. But in this moment, it worked out for me, because as I'm doing this comparison and I'm feeling guilty and I'm feeling ashamed and I'm mad and I'm fearful and I'm feeling every emotion there is except happy. I heard a voice. I'm not one of these people that often says, oh, I heard God say to me, or I heard Spirit say to me, but I don't have a problem with that. But I heard a voice this time that said, you love being a victim. Let that sink in. You love being a victim. And I said, I do not. I think I might have even said it out loud. I'm in the car by myself. Oh, you love being a victim. I have to tell you, folks, it shook me so much that I had to pull my car off. I'm on the shoulder at the side of the road, and I'm contemplating. I now use the word ponder a lot. People that are my clients would say, I often am saying, ponder that. Because I'd never done that before in my life. Ponder that. What does that mean? Oh, that's the inquiry part. I'll come to that in a minute. But I'm sitting here on the side of the road, and I'm going, what does that mean? And this voice said further, you don't expect much of yourself. People don't expect much of you, and you actually like that. Your family and friends, they've kind of given up on you, and it's okay to you. You don't have anything to prove. The truth is, you kind of like living your life from struggle, it appears. Oh, remember that one that likes struggle? Feels familiar, feels safe to be struggling. You have no concept of what it would be like to actually win, to actually have the life that you want. You know what? Change of any kind is a little bit frightening until you embrace the notion that change is my friend, right? Change is getting me closer to what I want if I'm living from me, not at me. And here was the one that really shook me. You think your parents and your friends and everyone that's ever been influential, teachers, etc., that you're punishing them by being a failure. What? Now that's a person that's decided that my life is so important that how I live it impacts everybody they feel punished by me being a failure. I mean, I had to laugh at that one and go, oh my gosh, what if they don't even notice? And certainly, what if they don't care much? I mean, we care, but we're going to have to let you do you. So, I'm sitting on the side of the road. I have this epiphany. I called it an epiphany. You know what epiphany means? It's like this awakening that seems like it comes from somewhere outside of you, and it's God. Well, I knew, well, I actually didn't yet, but now I know. It was an epiphany. It was from God, but it was the God inside of me, attached to the God that is all things. I liken it now to the New Testament story in the book of Acts of Paul on the road to Damascus, right? Where the bright light, he gets knocked off his donkey, you know, and you know the story, or if you don't, it's okay. But, you know, his life completely changed in that moment. And he went from being a persecutor of Christians to one of the lead apostles. And most of the Bible that we have now was written by Paul. You know, a rather dramatic change in his life. I have to tell you, this moment was that kind of epiphany, and I think it's kind of funny that it was me on my donkey of a car on the road to somewhere, and it turned everything in my life around. I'm going to tell you more of this story next week, because I'm going to tell you about after I had insight and I had inquiry, how then there became an intervention and an investment. We'll talk about that next week. But in the meantime, this is not the only story I have about these kinds of moments. And what I've learned in the years since, and that's been about 29 or so, is that this is a process that happens over and over and over if we choose it. If we choose to be inspired in our lives, if we choose to be intentional in our life, if we choose to creatively create our lives through consciousness, awareness, keep me awake. You know, I wake up most moments with this metaphor in my life that I've been asleep and now I'm awake, and I want to say to Spirit every day, keep me awake today. Keep me aware today. Let me see what it is I need to bring into this life this day. And as these opportunities come, I've got to recognize the pattern in this process. So there are these 4 steps I've already said. Insight. It's that epiphany moment. It's something that once it's seen, you can never unsee it. Ever have those experiences? Oh no, now I see it. There it is. I'd like to maybe go back to forgetting. I'd like to go back to being unaware. I'd like to go back to being anesthetized. Except that that's not what I've asked for. You see, what I've asked for is to be aware, to be having a life from me. So that means I have to have these moments where something in me, and that is still greater than me, is saying, now take a look at this. There's another layer. There's another part of you. There's another one in you that is not real. It's born out of fear. It's trying to keep you safe. It will no longer work for you. It will no longer work for you. Because now I see. Now I know. Now, I've been doing this a while. I've said that several times now. I've been doing this for a while, speaking to you. I've been a counselor, therapist, a coach for a while. Let me tell you one of these that happened this week. I'm in a new job. I have a new boss. She's fabulous. I want to be her when I grow up. I'm pretty sure I'm older than her, but I want to be her when I grow up. She brought in a consultant. I like him. But as I was noticing my week go by, she was spending more time with him than she was with me. And I'm not sure yet what my role is in this organization, and it looks like it's going to change because they hired me to do something, but they knew what I've done in the past, so now they're going to bring what I've done in the past into what I'm doing now. It's been a little bit confusing. They haven't given me an office yet. I keep walking around with my bag, you know. Where do you need me next? So I woke up Thursday morning, and the first thought that went through my head is, I don't want to go to work today. I love this job. I love this place. I love my boss. I don't want to go to work today? Now, just so you know, that's kind of not me. I wake up most days enthused about what I do and where I'm doing it. I don't want to go to work today. Insight. What is that? What is that? Inquiry. And all of a sudden, it didn't take long. I went, ah! I feel, those of you that know my story, I was adopted. I was the youngest. My brother just older than me, Richard, was 14 months older than me, and he was my mama's baby. I was the adopted kid that came in. This is all in my head, you know. So she loved him more. I spent most of my childhood trying to convince her to love me more. Right? Makes sense. And so there was this one that was born in me that is based on performance as acceptance. They will love me more if I perform better than him. So I have to be smarter. I have to accomplish more. You know, I have to show him up. I have to be loved more. And oh, by the way, I need my own bedroom. I need my own space. I need a place that feels grounded because I've spent a bit of my early years with a black plastic bag carrying me from place to place. By the way, this guy's name is Richard. I'm like, thank you, Spirit, that helps. But see, here's the deal. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. I get dressed and I go to work, and I just said it to someone. I said, can you come here? I need to talk about this because I just need to say it out loud. I'm trying to get Mom to like me best. I'm trying to find stability here and a place, know that this is my place. I belong here. And everything that's happening is giving me the opportunity to see that one in me. Right? If I'm coming from my authentic self, I know that I've come with value, and I will stay as long as my value is serving them and me. I'm not powerless in this situation. I've got all kinds of opportunities. But as long as I'm caught up in that she likes Richard more than me, and by the way, they may kick me out of here at any minute, I can't come. I can't be me. I can't bring me. I can't be my best. And I'm going to feel horrible the whole time. So let that stuff go. You've heard me talk about this here before, but see, it was a wake-up call. I don't like wake-up calls. But I've learned this, and I will certainly say to you, when you get a wake-up call, wake up. Wake up. Find the insight. What do I need to know about this? What do I need to change? What is all this? Because if I don't, guess what? Ring, 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 ring. It just keeps ringing. Because that one in you is wanting you to wake up. So it graciously keeps dialing. Graciously dialing. Frederick Buechner, I'm going to talk about these wake-up calls. They're not always bad things, by the way. Sometimes they're good things. Someone comes up to you and says something incredibly encouraging, and you want to say, no, not me, wait. See, that's a different kind of wake-up call. You know, Mitch Johnson, Dr. Reverend Mitch Johnson, who has been our spiritual leader here and founder of this place, and I call him my spiritual papa. I think it annoys him, and I think that's funny. But he's always saying, when someone pays you a compliment, first of all, pay attention to it. And if you feel resistance to it, know that it's something you need to learn. And the only appropriate response to a compliment is, thank you, it's true. That seems arrogant, doesn't it? See, there's an interesting thing, the comparison between arrogance and confidence. Confidence comes from the true self that can say, thank you, it's true. Arrogance is the one that says, it's not true, but I'm going to either dismiss it or I'm going to puff myself up. Anytime you show up as less than you because it makes other people uncomfortable, you're not being you. Anytime you come puffed up and enlarging yourself because you need to not feel insecure in the moment, you're not being you. The unique you that you were meant to bring to the situation, find that one. Thank you, it's true. It also shows up for me, and you've all observed this, maybe even already today, unexpected tears. You know what that is? Ever have that experience? Frederick Buechner, who's a wonderful Christian theologian, I love reading his stuff. He's so compassionate. He's so coming from a heart of love. And he says, pay attention to unexpected tears. It's God trying to tell you something. In this moment, I'm overwhelmed with emotion to the point that it makes me tearful. What do I need to know? What am I being taught? What does this person, maybe who's observing my tears, need to hear from me in this moment? What do I need to hear from them? What is this moment teaching me? Insight, people. I almost want to make you raise your hand and say after me, I promise to be observing. I promise to be awake. I promise to invite insight into my life. Now, inquiry. Inquiry. You have this moment. This seems like something I need to know. This seems like it's coming from my authentic self. It seems like it's trying to help me find love, not fear. It seems like it's trying to expand my consciousness. Right? So now, what does that mean? Inquiry. First of all, is it true? Uh-oh, chatter monkey. You know what chatter monkey is? Do you know they say that we have 60,000 thoughts go through our brain all day, every day? 60,000. You know how many of those you can disregard? Probably 65,000 or more. 55,000. Let's say at least 5,000 are worth hearing. You know, I mean, I'm standing up here, and I kind of want to tell you some of the thoughts that are going through my head, but most of them I have to disregard. They're not insight. Oh my gosh, they're not insight. Disregard, let it go. It's what the brain does. It just chatters away. It just chatters away. So inquiry is me saying, is this true? Is it important? Is it necessary? Because they're not all going to come as big epiphanies. Some of them are just going to come, and you're going to observe it, and you're going to know it, and you're going to say, this is something I can never again unsee. Let me tell you something else that's often not insight. People's opinions. See, they got their chatter monkey going on too. They've got their wounds showing up too. They've got those ones in them that are trying to keep them safe too. And some people just cannot stop having opinions, and it's their defense mechanism. I need to tell you who to be. It makes me more comfortable when you're who I say you are, right? Sometimes there are opinions you need, especially if they've been asked for. That's part of inquiry. Can you observe this about me, Christy? Kirsty, I'm sorry. I called you Christy a couple of times, and I apologize. As someone whose name I like to have people say it correctly. Yeah. What you think of me is none of my business most of the time. Boundaries. That's where I learned that what people, when someone wants to tell me what to think, what to feel, what to do, and what to believe, I get to say, thanks for sharing. I might regard it, see if it's true, see if it's insight, and do something with it. A lot of times I can go, thanks for sharing. Gone, done. Here's the other thing about boundaries. This one's for free. It's not part of the talk. You don't get to tell people what to do, think, feel, or believe either. If I want you to honor my boundaries, I've got to honor yours first. I'm teaching you how to treat me. Unless I ask you. Unless you ask me. I've learned, listen, I'm opinionated. And I'm pretty emphatic. I don't know if you've noticed that when I'm up here speaking. I say it as if it's the only way to see it or believe it. And so I can do that in people's lives, and I know it, right? And I've learned that and those who spend a lot of time with me, well, I hope I do it practice it with you, that often at the end of a sentence I'll say, and I could be wrong. Yeah, I owe them that. Here's what I think. You've asked me, and I could be wrong. But you might want to consider it. Okay, folks, insight, inquiry. Once we know it's true, we can never again not know it's true. And then we have to move on to intervention, which then moves us on to investment. I'm going to talk about those two things next week. So my challenge to you this week, and every day following, but at least for this next week while I have your attention, the challenge, look, be aware, know that that one in you who is the authentic one, who is attached to God always, is in fact God, but not all of God. There is a bigger God. That one is saying, beloved, that's you, beloved. You're so much more. Let's free ourselves of all this that is not us. Let's free ourselves of all of this that is not true. I'm reminded of this story, and I tried to find out where it's from. I like to attribute things to the people that actually said them instead of acting like I said it. So I didn't say this. It's a wonderful story of a couple that had a newborn, but they also had a 2-year-old little girl. And the 2-year-old little girl kept saying to them, I'd like to spend time with the baby alone. The parents were like, they were a little concerned. I don't know, what has she got planned here? So they set up a time where there was one of those baby cameras so that they could observe her while she was having her private time with the baby. And they put a little seat up next to the crib so that she could lean into the crib. And she said to the baby, they heard her say to the baby, tell me about God, because I think I'm forgetting. She knew the truth. She came here knowing. And in 2 years, she already could recognize that the world is making me forget. Tell me. Tell me. Listen. It's always speaking. Through the chatter, it's always speaking. It's coming to you, saying, be more. Be real. Be authentic. Show up. Because here's what I know, beloved. The world is waiting. The world needs you. You came here to be the unique manifestation of God. If you're not it, we're missing something. I believe in you. I believe you're here because you believe this. Let's do it together. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Gregory. That was fabulous. Look forward to next week for more of that. It is now time for our offering. It's now time to give back to what serves us. So I'd like for our ushers to come forward now. We can also accept your gift with a card in our bookstore. And for our online viewers, please make a contribution using the link in the description below, or mail your check to our street address. And at this time, repeat with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And we yes.
Time to wake up.
All these things I have right now, they didn't happen overnight. Take those dreams, make them real, and see to them in the light. Rise and shine, brand new day. Pick it up and start again. Anywhere, it's more than a prayer. Working with the man upstairs. We've been talking for a while. Hello, Sunday, we made it. We don't have to play pretend no more. Nice to meet you. It's my pleasure. Hello, Sunday, we made it. Every single labor step I took brought me here to you. Hello, hello, Sunday. When I didn't measure up and I knew I could be more, then I faked it till I felt it. Went from 0 to high score. Superpowers, I could fly. Came a hero, but sometimes there were loads I couldn't bear. Left it to the man upstairs. We've been talking for a while. Hello, Sunday, we made it. We don't have to play pretend no more. Nice to meet you. It's my pleasure. Hello, Sunday, we made it. Every single labor step I took brought me tell no more. Nice to meet you. It's my pleasure. Hello, Sunday. We made it. Every single labor step I took brought me here to you. Hello, hello, Sunday.
Kirsty, thank you so much. And let's thank our speaker, our band, our musicians, once again, if you don't mind. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great job, Larry.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Anyway, what you've heard today is an amazing talk. An amazing talk that's more than words. It's a message from this man's heart. And it touched my heart, and I know that it probably touched some of yours. I'm so thankful that we have the talent that we have here for message, for music, for support in every way. This is a great place to live your life. We have such a great and wonderful gift in this center. I'm going to ask you, if you have been touched today by the treatment, by Gregory's talk, or by the music, and you feel heavy on your heart for any reason, please get with one of our practitioners today. Please get with Alan, or Carl. They'll be in the back, and you can go up to them and just say, could I have a moment with you? There's no cost, and they will provide you with a spiritual mind treatment that may change your life. What a great message today. Gregory, I love you. I thank you so, so very much. I'd like to also recognize any visitors here today. If you're with us for your first or second time and would care to just stand up for just 1 second, we would like to recognize you. Yes, and thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. And I would like to ask our practitioners to come to the front now, and I'd like our speaker to join them. Of course, he is a practitioner, so yes. And now I'd like to ask Alan to come and do our closing treatment. Thank you. Thank you, Alan.
Know with me that there's but one power, one mind, one heart, one love, one divine consciousness and presence in this universe. And I am one with this power. And I'm going to say this treatment in the first person, so make it personal for yourself. And if there's anyone that you would like to be included in this treatment, you can say their name out loud or think it to yourself at this time. All there is God. All there is love. And right now, I am returning to myself, to recovery, to rediscovery, using the insight that Spirit has blessed me with. It allows me to open up to my authentic self, that authentic self which is God. I know that life comes from me, not at me. And with intention and awareness, which leads to inquiry. And I'm so grateful for this teaching that has opened me up, opened my heart up to this wonderful opportunity to grow, to be a blessing to myself and others. And for this, I am so grateful. And I know that there is nothing that can stand in the way of my good, no opinions of others, no doubts, no fears. And I say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this. I give great gratitude for this teaching, for this one life. And I release this treatment to the law, knowing it is so. I say it is so, and together we say, and so it is.
This program is a service of the Center for Spiritual Living Nashville. May your life be filled with joy and prosperity in every way. Learn more about our programs or contact one of our practitioners at our website, cslnashville.org. You may also want to follow us on Facebook at CSLNASH. You can make a big difference with your financial gift at lovecsln.com. Please share the link to this program with a friend and join us again next Sunday. Have a wonderful week.